Hey guys, Profe Pablo here, Spanish teacher turned Minecraft engineer. Today we are looking at horizontal item transport systems. In other words, we're learning how to get items from point A to point B. Now, I've actually had to record this video a couple of times, so I should have a good amount of practice. Here we go. First, let me show you why item transportation is important by taking you on a tour of one of my old worlds. Okay guys, the reason these transportation systems are awesome. This is one of my old worlds. It's pretty amazing. My girlfriend made that windmill and the tower and most of the barns. She's awesome. Anyway, all over this world, we have chests that say send home. And what you do is you drop something in the chest and it goes home. We have one here. We have one up here at a village that we made. So every time we trade with villagers, we can just send stuff back to our base. We have one over here at our different fishing platforms. And basically what happens is, so again, you drop stuff into this chest and it starts going through this system. Now you can see that this thing is pretty extensive. Took a long time to build, but it was worth it. Let me show you where it goes. Everything comes into our storage basement, into a chest that says organize. So everything that we need to organize goes here, and then we drop it into our different organizational systems, which go down into our basement. But it's all thanks to horizontal systems that allow us to move items horizontally, and that way they all come to our basement. Although these item transportation systems are great, they're not perfect by any means. The minecarts on the minecart transportation system sometimes disappear. If you move away from redstone, it stops working. But most of these will work just fine as long as you're close, and even if you step away and come back, they'll start working again. The first option I want to look at is this one with hoppers. Pretty straightforward, pretty easy to do. Let me go ahead and show you what we do. So you take a chest at point A, lay it down, come behind that chest, crouch, place a hopper, crouch, place a hopper, crouch, place a hopper, as long as your heart desires. And then at the end of that, you place a chest on top. The problem with this is usually when you're transporting items horizontally like this, you're going a long distance. And so you need tons and tons of hoppers. And even this short build here uses tons of hoppers, which means tons of iron. And Mojang, we need more iron. And because of a lack of iron, I came up with option number 2 in my own world. It's a dropper line. And it requires a lot of redstone, but honestly, it's not that hard to make. Start with the end in mind, come behind, place a hopper, just one. And then you take a dropper and place it facing into the hopper so that the smiley face is pointing forward. And you do that all the way back to where you want to go. Then you place a hopper on one side with the chest. And then on every other dropper, place a comparator coming out of the side. And then in front of that, place a repeater, then take some redstone, connect the end with redstone, and then go in between each of these clocks. Doing that turns those into repeater clocks. Then on top of the comparators, place an observer facing down, like that. And then take redstone, put it on top of each observer, and then take redstone and put it on top of each dropper that is connected to an observer. Do not connect the redstone on these droppers. It will break your machine. So we come over here, open up, drop some items in, your repeater clocks start moving, items through the dropper line, and it starts coming out here. And as you can see, you can make this thing pretty long. In my world, I made these hundreds of blocks long. Now, that being said, they would stop working until I walked close to them and then they'd work again. So sometimes it'd take a while for my items to get back to my storage, but I was still pretty happy with the outcome. Okay, the next item transporter is going to be using a minecart. Now, the minecart is kind of the more obvious way to transport items, but sometimes these minecarts disappear, so you gotta be careful. First, place a hopper behind a chest, like always. Then place a comparator coming out of that chest. Place a solid block, a redstone torch, another solid block on top of that, another solid block on top of the comparator, and put a redstone repeater in between. Now, on top of your chest, place a transparent block like glass, right like that. Then place a rail on top of that. Crouch, place a rail that causes this one to slant upward, and then place a rail here. So this rail up here causes these rails to slant upward. Now you can break that. Place a block. This slant is going to cause the minecart to gain speed and be able to go back. Place a couple of tracks down, and then place 3 powered rails in a row. That'll bring your cart up to max speed. Now let me explain how this works. So this comparator reads when there is something in this dropper turning off the track. In other words, when your cart is here unloading, the track gets turned off so the cart stays put. Continue your rail all the way to where you want to go, placing 3 powered rails kind of towards the end. Add a couple more rails. Don't forget to power those rails, and here at the end you're going to need 1 powered rail and a double chest right here and right here. Out of the double chest, you're going to place room for a comparator, and then, 2 blocks. Just like that, a little L shape. And then place a torch here that powers that rail. But we want items that are in here to be unloaded into the minecart, and when it's empty for this rail to turn on. Right now it's on, so we need it off. We do that by placing a comparator, adding redstone dust here, and placing a block here, which causes this to be powered. And so now when we put items in here, there we go, this turns off and so does this rail. All right, let's grab ourselves a minecart with a hopper, make sure this works. So I'm gonna place it here, push it onto the track. It should come over here, unload, then come back over here and unload. Here we go. Pushing it, it's going to load up. Man, that moves fast with these hoppers. It's gonna come back this way. Should stop. Oops, didn't quite get it. Maybe it'll get it this next time. There it is. So it is unloading into this hopper, which is going into this chest, and when it's done, it'll start moving again. And off it goes. Now remember, if your game crashes and this is crossing a chunk border, it might disappear, so that's a little frustrating. Okay, the last one is one of my favorite ones. It's a water system. So what you're going to do is carve out a trench all the way to where you want to go. That sheep threw me off my line. There we go. Blame the sheep. Now, normally with these water trenches, you have to go 8 blocks, then go further down, then 8 blocks, then go further down. We are not going to do that. So come over here, count 8 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. On the 9th block, dig 2 blocks down, then count 8 blocks again. On the 9th block, carve 2 blocks down. All right, that should do it. So here at the end, we are actually going to place a chest and a hopper. Chest, hopper. Wherever you carved out 2 blocks down, place a button on top, like that. That's gonna help direct the water in one direction. Then grab soul sand, place it at the bottom of that column. Then take buckets of water, place one at the beginning, one on the soul sand, place another one. Notice the button forces the water to go this way. Another one, bucket of water, coming to the end. Great. Now to get this thing going, we are going to need a dropper facing towards the water. And if you've subscribed for a while, you know that I use these clocks all the time. Place a comparator, a repeater, redstone, 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 redstone. the repeater going back in, redstone, redstone, that reads if there's anything in this dropper, and it will activate the dropper. I'm going to place a hopper with a chest, and then I'm going to close up this area so no items escape, because they kind of bounce around in the water. Okay, I'm going to put a roof on this thing made of glass so I can see what's going on. There you go. Okay, let's add some items. They get spit out into the water. When they reach the soul sand, which is kind of the end of the first line, they bounce around and get bounced into the second water chute and start making their way down. Now, all of these systems are good systems, but they all have their advantages and disadvantages. Your safest bet is a hopper line, but it's super expensive with iron. I really like this dropper line. It's reliable, but it'll stop working if you get far enough away. It will pick back up where it left off when you come back. But also, it takes a lot of redstone and configuring. The minecart system works really, really well. But sometimes the minecart disappears. And then the water system I like a lot. It's super cheap, easy to make. The only thing is you have items that are kind of floating around, and I feel nervous about walking away because if you get far enough, they'll stop moving, and I bet that they will despawn after a while, and that makes me super nervous. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments below which one was your favorite, or if you have a different version, let me know.